Hey, what's up everybody? So it's been a while since I've gone camping or any type of like hiking or backpacking, but today one of my old bosses who recently worked for our company decided to go ahead and invite me with a couple of our friends to go hiking at Lake Stuart over at the Enchantments in the Central Cascade region in the state of Washington. And one of the cool things about this hike is that if you ever talk to somebody who lives in Washington, for example, or just someone who's an avid hiker who kind of knows their areas, the Enchantments are one of those like magnificent and unique spots, particularly for hikers and campers who want to go ahead and experience just like beautiful lakes, for example, beautiful like scenic snow-capped mountains, and just the environment itself, really magnificent. And so we had the opportunity to come by today to basically spend one evening here, you know, setting up camp and all that over at the Enchantments, particularly in the Lake Stuart region. And I do want to say is that, you know, before anyone goes there, like, let's go backpacking, one of the biggest challenges, like basically the only real challenge, is the fact that you do have to get a permit to camp here. And the permit is basically one of the hardest things to get. For those of you who probably have applied before, you understand what I'm talking about. It's like the best way or the best chances for you to get this permit is you have to have all of your buddies, your friends, even people you don't even know, right? Like, hey, you know, 8 to 10 people, go ahead and apply on the website to get a permit. You all have to select different dates and hopefully one of you guys get it, because I think the permit, if you guys do get the permit, I think it allows for up to either 6 or 8 people per campsite. So if you guys are interested in doing that, highly recommend doing that. And I think the registration date for getting a camping permit over here at the Enchantments region is, I think, February 15th, February 16th, something like that. I have to go ahead and double check it, but I'll go ahead and put a link on the description in the link down below. But either way, most people who don't end up camping here end up doing what's called like a through hike. But if you guys don't have the opportunity to get a camping permit, I highly recommend either way coming out to Lake Stuart, because you can go ahead and just park. And by the way, it's not as Discover Pass this time. You guys are gonna need your Northwest Forest Pass. If you guys don't have your Northwest Forest Pass, I do believe that they have the permit slips that you just pay, you know, write your name, vehicle, put in the $5, put in a slip box, and you get your permit for the day. But you guys can go ahead and just park your vehicle on the trailhead, you know, and it took us about 3 hours to get here. We started at about 9 o'clock in the morning, got here at about 12 o'clock. And the distance from the parking lot trailhead to Lake Stuart is about 4.5 miles, give or take, with an elevation gain of about 15 to 1,600 feet. And again, one of the nice things about hiking in this particular region is the fact that you're pretty much hiking in the shaded region. And there's only a few instances where you are pretty much like underneath the sun. So obviously bring your sunscreen, bring a hat like this where it pretty much covers your whole neck, maybe a little bit of your shoulder. I also highly recommend wearing long sleeves, because there's a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of bugs just flying around. And yeah, but let's go ahead and explore Lake Stuart and see what what the Enchantments are all about. So we've been hiking for some time now, give or take. We've gone about 2.5 miles to 3 miles, and we came upon this one location, like this beautiful meadow. I mean, just look behind me, and you could really see why the Enchantments is one of the more popular hikes in the state of Washington. It's just simply like, this is awesome. Like, oh my God, I am like speechless. Like, look at how beautiful and majestic these mountains are. I do believe that, I think that is Mount Stuart right behind us. Have to double check, not really too sure, but it's just freaking awesome. Like, yeah, this is great. Hey, what's up guys? So yeah, we finally made it to Lake Stuart. And you know, I have to say, when we finally made it, you know, when you have that feeling like you're walking, you finally get it to your destination, like you just get that sense of like accomplishment. Like, I got that, right, with Lake Stuart, and particularly just due to the fact that it's also such a beautiful like scenic environment. Like, if you take a look just right behind me, this is pretty much all that we have like for us today, right? The hike itself took us about 3 hours. So we started about 9 o'clock. We got to the lake at about 12 o'clock, give or take. Didn't really take any breaks, but it was a relatively, I would say relatively easy hike. We'll say moderate to easy hike-ish, in scale of 0 to 10. It'd be like a scale of like a 4 or 5 out of 10 as far as difficulty is concerned. But it wasn't too bad, because one of the nice things about this hike is like it's pretty much shaded. Like there's like, we'll say 85% of the hike is pretty much hiked in the shade. And you might be wondering, okay, why are you wearing this little net thing? Because in the peak of like summertime, especially right now, it's about August 15th. There's lots of mosquitoes running around, flying around, and it keeps your, like, you know, that buzzing sound, like when things are like flying by. I don't like that sound, it really bothers me. But there are a lot of mosquitoes, particularly because anytime you're like in the water, in the lake area, there's gonna be generally a lot of just bugs flying around. So go ahead, invest in one of these like little like net thingy that costs like 10 bucks at REI. Not too bad, and it's a really, really good investment. Although you look really, really silly, but you know what? I'd rather take looking silly than, you know, having all these things like touching my face and having like, you know, pimples, right? So anyways, I'm really excited to actually be camping at a part of the Enchantments for the first time, and I am not too sure. I have to double check. I'm not too sure if this is considered part of the Enchantment, because I was looking at the Google map and it looks like it's the Enchantments are located like a little bit southeast of like Kolchak Lake, for example. But we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a break here, you know, have a little bit of a lunch, have some water, and I want to go ahead and see if it's doable to go ahead and check out a place called Horseshoe Lake, which is about, I think, a mile to a mile and a half west of here. And I was reading on some of the comments on the, I think it's either All Trails or the Washington Trails Association's website, is that the trail to get to the actual Horseshoe Lake right now is basically a little bit of a challenge, primarily because of the fact that there are some downed trees, and so the trailhead might not be particularly evident. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and make my way to Horseshoe Lake, because apparently it's a really, really nice place to just go ahead and again take a look at another area with like beautiful lakes, you know, mountains, snowy mountains behind us. And so yeah, really, really awesome, guys. Really, really awesome. All right, guys, so we've been walking for about 15 to 20 minutes now past the one area with the rocks at Lake Stuart. And I do want to say that the trail does become a little bit more challenging to navigate. It does become a little bit more thin. So you have to kind of know what you're doing as far as like how to navigate this area. And I do want to say, I'm not gonna lie, I am feeling a little afraid right now actually, because I've heard that there are bears in the area. Obviously I don't have any bear spray with me. I came pretty much unprepared, so I'll never do this. So I'm always trying to, you know, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, just to make sure that there's no, like, you know, just gotta be aware of what your surroundings are. That's why I recommend, like, maybe don't listen to headphones, no music when you're hiking. Just be aware of what's going around you. That way you don't get surprised by anything crazy. But the one cool thing is that, you know, as you continue to make your way down, trying to navigate the path, you get closer and closer to Mount Stuart. And I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a really, really cool view, just how close we are to Mount Stuart. It's really, really fascinating. So yeah, as I continue to make my way down, trying to make my way towards Horseshoe Lake, you're gonna continue to basically, we'll say struggle. I mean, struggle in the sense like you are climbing over like dead branches, down trees, but the trail is pretty evident, as long as, again, you know what you're looking for. In case you guys do want to come here and you're not really familiar, just look down. Like, really just look down, like, you know what a trail is versus what's not a trail. And if you seem like you are lost, look for footprints. Footprints are one of the biggest giveaways as far as like, is this a trail? Is this not a trail? But if you guys continue further on, and I think I'm gonna start making my ascent up towards Horseshoe Lake, because as you see behind me, it just basically starts going up now. But I mean, beautiful. Look how close I am to Mount Stuart. You get a little see of the ice cap over there, but simply magnificent. So highly recommend if you guys are here, if you guys are feeling brave and you guys know kind of like what you're doing, try and keep going and see what you can get from here. All right, so I have some bad news. So it looks like I can no longer take my advice, and I have lost the trail to the actual footpath of going to Horseshoe Lake. Honestly, I'm probably not gonna go any further, because yeah, I don't want to get too turned around. I don't want to get too turned around and I'm not being able to find my way back. I mean, it shouldn't be too challenging, just basically backtrack, but you know, make sure the mountain's on this side, looking at your landmarks. But I'm not too sure if I'm going to go ahead and venture anymore, because I have no idea where to go from here. So if you guys do end up coming, there's a big rock right behind me, and somewhere here I just got lost. I mean, there are some areas where like the trail looks like it gets planted, like all of the weeds or whatever you call them. I have no idea what type of plant it is, but these weeds are just basically pushed down. So you could clearly tell that people have stepped on it. But at some point, as I continued to go on, I could no longer find the trail, and I didn't want to, like, you know, step into like something. And plus there's a lot of crappy mosquitoes everywhere. Really buggering. So I'm just gonna go ahead and head back and just make sure, you know, it's all about safety. You know, as much as I do want to go check out Horseshoe Lake because I did hear that it's a really nice trail. Of course, safety is always the utmost important, and you know, right? We always make fun of those people. The Darwin Award, right? Doing the stupidest thing just to get a selfie, like, you know, again, not really worth it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and head back and just enjoy the rest of the evening with my coworker and her friends. All right, guys. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for our Lake Stuart overnight camping trip. And I do want to say that it's a really fun experience to basically come out here and just spend the night, because, you know, once the crowd started dying down, it's just such a serene moment to just come out here, you know, set up some of your chairs or camping chairs and just sit and just listen to basically nothingness, right? If that makes any sense to you guys. And just being able to enjoy just this beautiful, magnificent view of Lake Stuart, along with Mount Stuart, right, which is right behind me. And I do want to say that the hike itself, again, pretty easy, moderately easy, a lot easier if you don't have to carry a 30 to 45 pound backpack. And I do want to mention that as we make our way down, if you guys remember, there's an intersection where you guys could go either continue to make your way down towards the trailhead, or you guys could go ahead and make that turn and head down towards Kolchak. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm having a little bit of some back spasms right now, and my back is pretty much killing me just from carrying that pack. But if you guys do decide to go ahead and do Kolchak from that intersection, it is from the map, it's another 1.5 miles to get there. Now, unfortunately, the elevation gain is pretty extensive. So from the intersection up to where you hit Kolchak Lake, the elevation gain is going to be about 1,500 feet, give or take. So it's going to be pretty challenging. And the fact that I have a 30 to 40 pound backpack, I don't really want to do it, considering my back is also killing me. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that next time. But I want to say that, you know, being able to come out here again, I want to go ahead and actually try and do the whole enchantment hike. I know previously I mentioned that this is the enchantment, but actually it's technically not the enchantment. It's part of the enchantment, but not necessarily the enchantment itself. And I was again looking at the map, and the enchantments looks like a really beautiful hike. But the whole through loop hike is about 20 miles, I think, 20 to 25 miles, give or take. So it's gonna be basically you start somewhere at 4 in the morning, and if you wanna continue to do the whole loop, it'll take anyone on average, I think 16 to 20 hours to do this whole hike. So depending on how much you wanna go ahead and do that, you know, that's what you do. Otherwise, you go ahead and get your your camping permit to do overnight camping. I think there's some in Snow Lake and some in like Kolchak Lake. I don't know, I'll have to double check. But again, registration is in February, mid-February. So go ahead and apply for those right away. Again, get a group of 10, 15, 20 people, people that you know. Submit your application for overnight camping, and hopefully you guys get a spot. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Yeah, definitely come out and check out Lake Stuart. It's a really fun day hike to do, and yeah, relatively easy for most people to do. So anyways, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.